In 1999, the music industry made $27 billion. By 2010, that number had been cut nearly in half. The labels were bleeding, the artists were furious, CD sales were in freefall, and an entire industry built over a century, gone in less than a decade. Nobody had a solution. Nobody, except a 23-year-old in Stockholm who decided the answer was not to fight piracy. It was to make piracy pointless. Today, Spotify has over 600 million users across 180 countries. It hosts more than 100 million tracks. It pays out billions of dollars to artists every year. It is the single most dominant force in how human beings discover, consume, and relate to music. But it almost never existed. In the next 10 minutes, we are going to go back to when music was in freefall. We are going to meet the two men who built something the entire industry said was impossible. We are going to unpack exactly how Spotify won, and why winning came with a cost nobody fully anticipated. This is how Spotify took over the music industry. To understand Spotify, you first have to understand just how catastrophically broken the music industry had become. It is the year 2000. A college dropout named Sean Fanning has just released a piece of software called Napster. The idea is simple. Share your music files with strangers on the internet for free. Within a year, 60 million people are using it. Record labels panic. They sue. They lobby. They run ad campaigns, telling teenagers that downloading music is the same as stealing a car. Nobody cares. Napster gets shut down. Then LimeWire appears. Then Kazaa. Then the Pirate Bay. Every time the industry kills one platform, 3 more take its place. Meanwhile, the numbers are devastating. Global recorded music revenue falls from nearly $27 billion in 1999 to under $16 billion by 2010. More than 40% of the industry's value gone. Tower Records, the largest music retail chain in America, bankrupt. Thousands of musicians watching their royalty checks shrink to almost nothing. The industry tried everything. Lawsuits against teenagers. DRM locks on digital files that made them barely usable. A rigid insistence on selling albums when people only wanted songs. Nothing worked. The music industry was not just struggling, it was dying. And then, in a Stockholm apartment, 2 men started asking a different question. Daniel Ek is 23 years old. He has already built and sold a tech company. He is restless, wealthy enough, and completely obsessed with one problem. He loves music. He hates how hard it is to access legally. His co-founder, Martin Lorentzon, is a serial entrepreneur who has built one of Sweden's most successful digital marketing companies. Together, they share a simple but radical conviction. The only way to kill piracy is not to punish people for it. It is to build something better than it. They start building Spotify in 2006. The vision sounds almost naive in its simplicity. Every song ever recorded, available instantly, on any device, legally. But getting there nearly destroys them before they even launch. The major record labels, Sony, Universal, Warner, EMI, are deeply suspicious of any new digital platform. They have been burned before. They are not handing over their catalogs to 2 Swedes without a fight. Negotiations drag on for nearly 2 years. Ek flies back and forth to New York and Los Angeles constantly. He pitches, persuades, revises, concedes. He offers equity. He offers guarantees. He offers minimum payment thresholds. Some label executives refuse to meet with him at all. Most people would have given up. Ek does not give up. And in 2008, Spotify launches in Europe, with a catalog, with licenses, and with an idea that was about to change everything. Here is what made Spotify different from everything that came before it. Speed. When you searched for a song on Spotify, it played. Not in 30 seconds, not after a buffering wheel. Instantly. Faster, in many cases, than an illegally downloaded file would have taken to open. That sounds small. It was not small. In a world where piracy required downloading files, managing folders, worrying about viruses and corrupted data, Spotify was frictionless. Clean. Immediate. But the masterstroke was the freemium model. You did not have to pay anything. You could sign up for free, listen to ads, and access the entire catalog. Or you could pay $10 a month and make the ads disappear. The music industry hated the free tier. They called it devaluing music. They pushed Eck to remove it constantly. Eck refused, because he understood something the labels did not. The enemy was not people who would not pay. The enemy was friction. Every barrier between a listener and a song was a reason to open a torrent site instead. Make it free. Make it instant. Make it legal.
And watch what happens.
Spotify launches in the United States in 2011, and the response is immediate. Within a year, they have millions of American subscribers. Within 3 years, they are available in over 50 countries. The mobile app changes everything. Suddenly your entire music library lives in your pocket, accessible anywhere, on any signal. But what truly separates Spotify from every competitor is something most users never consciously notice. The algorithm. Discover Weekly, Release Radar, Daily Mixes. These are not just playlists. They are a personalization engine so precise that millions of people describe it as knowing their taste better than they know it themselves. Every skip, every replay, every time you let a song play through at 2 a.m., Spotify is learning. Building a model of who you are as a listener. And then using that model to surface music you did not know you needed. Artists who could never afford radio promotion suddenly found themselves with millions of streams because an algorithm decided their song belonged on the right playlist at the right moment. The gatekeepers of the music industry, the radio programmers, the label executives, the music video channels, had spent decades controlling what people heard. Spotify quietly took that power away from them. So why did Spotify win when so many others failed? 4 reasons. 1. The freemium model was a Trojan horse. Get people in for free. Let them fall in love with the product, then convert them. It worked. Spotify's conversion rate from free to paid is the envy of every subscription business on earth. 2. Data is the real product. Spotify knows more about listening behavior than any entity in the history of music. That data makes their recommendations better, their playlists stickier, their advertising more valuable, and their deals with labels more powerful. 3. Convenience always beats free. This is the lesson the music industry refused to learn. People do not pirate because they want to steal, they pirate because it is easier than the legal alternative. The moment legal became easier, the calculus changed. 4. They moved fast and stayed obsessed with the user. While Apple Music launched late and prioritized its own ecosystem, while Tidal made the mistake of centering artists over listeners, Spotify kept its focus singular. Make the listener's experience better. Every update, every quarter, without exception. But the story is not clean, because for all of Spotify's success, one question has followed the company from almost the beginning. Are artists actually getting paid fairly? The numbers are uncomfortable. Spotify pays rights holders between 3 and 5 thousandths of a dollar per stream. For an independent artist, you need roughly 350 streams to earn a single dollar. In 2014, Taylor Swift pulled her entire catalog from the platform, calling it an experiment and publicly questioning whether its model fairly compensated musicians. She was not alone. Radiohead's Tom York called it the last desperate fart of a dying corpse. Spotify's response has always been the same: look at the total payout, not the per-stream rate. They have paid out over $40 billion to rights holders since their founding. Critics respond, yes, but how much of that reaches the actual artist after labels take their cut? It is a fair question, and it does not yet have a fair answer. Competition has also never stopped closing in. Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Tidal. Each one backed by companies with deeper pockets than Spotify has ever had. Apple, in particular, does not need music to be profitable, it just needs it to keep people inside the Apple ecosystem. Spotify, by contrast, lives and dies by music. That pressure never goes away. Whatever you think of the royalty debate, one thing is undeniable. Spotify changed the rules of music entirely. Albums used to be the unit of commerce. Now, the single is back, because streaming rewards the song, not the body of work. Artists release music more frequently, in smaller pieces, optimized for playlist placement. Geographic barriers to discovery have essentially disappeared. A singer-songwriter in Lagos, a producer in Seoul, a bedroom pop artist in Buenos Aires, all of them now have access to a global audience that previously required a major label deal and a radio campaign to reach. And the way people relate to music has shifted in ways that are harder to measure but equally profound. Playlists have replaced albums as the primary listening format. Music is now ambient, always on, always available, always one tap away. The album as a carefully constructed artistic statement still exists, but the world no longer requires it to find you.
In 2006, two men in Stockholm decided the answer to piracy was not punishment, it was a better product. They were right. Spotify did not just survive the music industry's collapse, it stepped into the wreckage and rebuilt the entire system. In its own image, on its own terms, according to its own logic. Whether that is ultimately good for music, for the artists who pour years of their lives into making it, is still being decided. The conversation is ongoing and the outcome is not yet written, but this part is not in question. The 23-year-old that every label told it could not be done, built the most listened-to music platform in the history of human civilization. And he did it by understanding one simple truth that an entire industry spent a decade refusing to accept. You do not beat free by fighting it, you beat free by being better than it. If you like this story, then like and subscribe. Every week we bring you amazing stories of incredible companies like this one. And drop a comment, what do you think of this story?